Hello everyone, my name is Aseem Chabra. Welcome to the Aseem Chabra Show. I'm a freelance journalist in New York City and on the board of the South Asian Journalists Association. Today we have a young filmmaker in the studio, Joseph Mathew. Joseph has just directed his first narrative film called Bombay Summer. Before that, he had directed a documentary called Crossing Arizona, which actually went to the Sundance Film Festival. Bombay Summer is making the rounds of film festivals. They started with a festival called IFLA, which is in Los Angeles earlier this year, and then since then has traveled to Abu Dhabi. And just last week, it made the rounds of a festival here in New York City, the MIAC, the Mahindra Indo-American Arts Council Film Festival. It won the 3 top awards at the festival: the Best Actress Award, which went to a young actress from India called Tannishtha Chatterjee, and Joseph himself won the Best Director Award and the Best Film. Joseph, congratulations and welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Aseem. By the way, I must just, I'm not that young, but.
Well, you're starting off as a filmmaker.
Yes,
as a
that's
narrative
correct.
film.
Yes.
But you look very young. So tell us about the film. I mean, why don't you talk about it in terms of the idea, the concept? It's basically a friendship between 3 people. There's also a 4th character. And it's set in contemporary Bombay, probably.
Right.
In a hot summer,
Right.
Bombay, months
yeah.
of hot summer. But talk to us about the film.
Well, the film is, it is about like 3 young people. I really wanted to delve in this whole youth culture, urban youth culture. I felt that, that was like a topic that never really got discussed, especially since India is like a big country with so many issues, and, it's not like what filmmakers actually think about, or even like people actually think about when about films. And in America, there are like so many films about youth culture, or anywhere else in the world. And I felt that Indian youth culture really exists. There is a thing like, especially if you grow up in India, you really feel that. Maybe if you come from a certain class and you listen to like music, and there is like the huge kind of like underground thing always. And so I really wanted to tap into something of that, But at the same time, I wanted to like bring some of my experiences as a young person growing up in India, and try to bring that into a modern context and how like society is changing and how these 3 people are trying to cope with those changes.
And 2 of the characters obviously are from the upper class. Tanishta plays the role of she works in a publishing house,
Right.
and is in a relationship with a character played by Samrat Chakravarti, who's a New York-based actor actually, and he's a writer, but obviously from a well-off family. His family is supporting him,
Right.
staying.
Right.
And that 3rd character actually comes from a very, very poor background. I mean,
Right.
he's come from the rural part of Maharashtra and
Right.
lives in a very low-end chawl.
Right.
And your experience of discovering, I mean, I don't know, how much did you know about low-end, chawls
Yeah.
like that?
I mean, I didn't know about Charles, but I always had like friends from, all classes. And I went to like a very humble school, so I had my friends were from, even though my father was an engineer and, we came from a very scholastic family. A certain few years, in my, when I was going to school, I went to this very, public school, which is like, and it was like, and all my friends were made up of like people from, like the children of postmen, or like really people, working class people. And that really kind of like opened my eyes about like how like everybody, because like when you live in India, you kind of like tend to live in your own little bubble, especially if you come from, exactly. And you really don't, reach out, and you don't have the opportunity, whatever. I mean, you kind of like your social network is usually restricted within those, those classes. But I had this like unique opportunity of like, experiencing the lives and becoming friends with these, people from different classes. And so I felt that, especially with the character of Geeta, who is like this very outgoing, free spirit, but at the same time, she's kind of like open to new experiences. And it is her character which actually goes out and, makes sure that this relationship, she gets attracted to this painter, aspiring painter, and it talks more about her than anything else.